Should you buy a Chromebook in 2024? Let's find out. A Chromebook is a laptop computer that runs Google's flagship desktop operating system, Chrome OS, and this has been around since 2010. However, Chrome OS in general seems to receive mixed reviews. Some say it's a viable alternative to Microsoft Windows and Apple Mac OS, while others absolutely hate Chrome OS with a passion. But in this video, I will be going over various reasons as to why you should or should not buy a Chromebook in 2024, and beyond. Firstly, we need to consider that everyone has different needs, wants, and preferences, and most people use whatever comes on their device. Chrome OS is a cloud-based operating system, meaning you are encouraged to store your files with Google's cloud storage services. But for a lot of reasons, I personally prefer local storage, and I am sure many of you also prefer local storage, but perhaps cloud backups could come in handy, and it does provide an additional off-site location for you to store your important files and data. So, what exactly do Chromebooks have to offer? Chromebooks are a lot cheaper than Windows or Macintosh laptops, and with many brands to choose from, there's a Chromebook for everyone. Many commonly only have around 4 GB of RAM, though it is possible to buy a Chromebook with more RAM. The same goes for storage. You will usually see Chromebooks only have around 64 GB of storage, but again, you can find ones with more storage capacity. And as a side note, Chromebooks only have integrated graphics, so don't plan on doing any graphically demanding tasks on a Chromebook. They really are not designed for that sort of stuff. And the last thing we need to look at is processor. Most Chromebooks come with an Intel Pentium or Celeron processor, though it is possible to buy Chromebooks with an Intel i3, i5, or i7 processor. Granted, this will obviously be more expensive, so if you want a really good Chromebook, you're gonna have to spend a bit of money, but if you're in need of a budget device, perhaps consider looking at Lenovo's line of Chromebooks. They offer affordable computers that have astounding build quality and features for their low prices. You could also look at Acer's line of Chromebooks, but for more premium Chromebooks, you might want to check out the Asus Chromebooks, or the more premium choices that other brands have to offer. Chromebooks can also offer different types of screens and sizes, so if you're on a tight budget, you may only be able to get something with a TN panel. TN panels are renowned for their fast refresh rates, but their massive drawback is the bad viewing angles, so if you are doing lots of drawing, or you need color accuracy, a TN panel is not going to cut the mustard. But if you're a gamer, or you are okay with TN panels, then that's fine as well. But IPS panels offer the best viewing angles whilst also having relatively fast refresh rates, but they do cost a fair bit, compared to TN panels, and all of this will ultimately come down to what you can afford. So if you're on a tight budget, don't expect to get anything fancy, but if you're loaded, you can buy the most expensive and luxurious Chromebook out there. And you also need to consider your software needs. If you want to run professional software, then Chrome OS is not suitable for that. However, if you're only doing basic stuff like web browsing, word processing, and some light gaming, then a Chromebook might be perfect. You can also install Netflix and streaming services, as well as Steam, to access a whole range of video games for Android and Chrome OS. And Chrome OS also has a Linux container, which allows for you to install Linux software inside of Chrome OS. Granted, you may not be able to get the latest version of the Linux software using this, as the repositories could be outdated and not contain the latest version of specific software, so do keep this in mind if you decide to use Linux software on Chrome OS. Also, you should know that Chromebooks come with a bunch of Google services and products pre-installed, so if you're not a fan of bloatware, then a Chromebook will probably not be the best choice for you. But if you heavily rely on Google services and products, then a Chromebook might be a great option. Lastly, Chromebook availability can vary depending on your specific region or location. Some countries may have limited or restricted access to Chromebooks, due to various reasons, such as trade embargoes, or it could be due to extreme poverty, or political reasons. For example, in countries like North Korea and Cuba, you would not be able to use a Chromebook, because that is an item that is owned and made by America, and Google is an American-owned business, so Google cannot provide their services or products to countries which America has cut off from trading with the rest of the world. Therefore, this means that North Korea, Cuba, and any other place currently under a trade embargo are strictly prohibited from having unlimited access to Google's services and products, which means that the North Koreans and Cubans must use an alternative services which are not prohibited or regulated by their governments. But we won't go too far into the political issues surrounding Cuba and North Korea. That is not up for discussion here, nor is any other political matter. If you want to learn more about that, you can do some research yourself. So, are Chromebooks worth buying in 2024? If you want a cheap laptop that can browse the web, play basic games, and run some Linux software, then a Chromebook is probably a good choice. However, if you rely on professional software, or you want to play demanding games, then I am afraid that a Chromebook is not going to cut the mustard, and ultimately, Chrome OS is not a viable alternative to Microsoft Windows or Apple's Mac OS, and it's not a Linux distribution as such either, and with many not liking Chrome OS, I don't see it gaining any significant momentum anytime soon. But many are also appreciating this underrated masterpiece, and with many fantastic web-based services, a Chromebook can be just as good, if not better than a Windows or Mac laptop, and you can even turn a Chromebook into a Linux device, install a fully fledged Linux desktop environment, and you can run all your Linux software and games right from the get-go. But this process is rather complex and time-consuming, and I would not recommend messing around with the BIOS on Chrome OS devices. They are made specifically to run only one system, and if you attempt to install a non-Chrome OS operating system, you may be voiding the warranty, so I would recommend you leave your Chromebook alone, unless it's running an outdated version of Chrome OS, in which case I would recommend you upgrade the operating system, because in that case, your Chromebook's warranty would already be expired, and the operating system will no longer get crucial security updates, bug fixes, etc. So you will need to upgrade to an up-to-date system if you want to continue receiving updates. Anyway, that will do it for this video, folks. Please remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe. See you next video. Bye for now.